Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be once again talking about that major upcoming winter storm. This winter storm is going to feature severe weather, major snowfall, and also some major icing that's going to be going on for certain regions. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. And I'd also highly recommend that you check out our very exciting store in the description and the pinned comment down below, and then also our very awesome Patreon page, where we're actually going to be releasing our January precipitation forecast and January temperature forecast today over there on the Patreon page, so be sure to go check that out. Again, that's going to be in the description and the pinned comment down below. Anyways, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, what is the maximum amount of ice that you think anyone will see from this system is? Do you think it'll be over half an inch, over an inch? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now let's get straight into this video, and first things first, we're taking a look at that kind of first storm that's happening before the one that we're talking about in this video. And this is by about 1 a.m. this morning, so this was a little bit earlier, obviously. We did have some ice, we did have some snow for the upper Midwest. I just wanted to show that. But by the time we reach maybe about 4 a.m. Tomorrow, which is going to be New Year's Eve on Thursday, December 31st, you can see that we have that first storm pretty much moving out. You might wake up to some flakes flying there for Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and the rest of New England and upstate New York potentially. And also we see our storm that we're actually talking about in this video coming to a start there for portions of Texas and Mexico there, where we have heavy snow flying for the western regions, and then also some heavy rain and thunderstorms developing in the eastern portion of the state. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to move on. We're going to move on towards about the very, very late portions of New Year's Eve heading into New Year's Day. So we're going to be crossing from 2020 to 2021 here, and we're going to see some heavy snowfall and heavy freezing rain develop as well in just a moment. Alright, again, here we are by about, I would say this is probably about 11 p.m. or so here on, maybe 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. here on New Year's Eve, Thursday, December 31st. And as you can see, we have some heavy snowfall for the central and western regions of Texas, and then we have some heavy rain going on for the eastern portions of Texas, also Oklahoma, some thunderstorms developing. We do have a marginal risk, or actually, sorry, a slight risk at severe weather for a lot of those deep south states, so there will be severe weather associated with this as well. Of course, you saw that in the thumbnail though. Let's just take it to about, I would say this is probably about 5 a.m. here on Friday, January 1st, so New Year's Day. And as you can see, we have still that heavy snowfall up there for the western and now northern regions of the state of Texas, but also some snow going on for western Oklahoma, and then a lot of freezing rain now going on for Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and possibly even Arkansas as well. That is heavy freezing rain, and if this really does play out this way, obviously take this with a major grain of salt. This storm is a very complicated one, and we're still quite a ways away from this storm starting, so nothing is locked or set in stone. I want you guys to know that for sure. We definitely could see less ice, more snow, less snow, more ice, different locations seeing different conditions. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and we're going to move on towards about 1 p.m. on January 1st of 2021, and we're going to see a lot more ice develop for a lot more regions, actually. Alright, now here we are taking a look again at about 1 p.m. So this is actually probably about the high temperatures of the day as well. And what's interesting is we see it come to an end as snow there for Oklahoma, Kansas, and then eventually as you just peek a little bit further eastward there in Kansas, you will see those pinks. It goes from oranges to pinks. That's sleet. So there will be some other wintry precipitation going on as well. It's a very messy storm, but very heavy freezing rain according to this model falling for Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio there, with severe weather again to the south potentially. Let's just scan over a little bit further eastward, and this is by about 7 p.m. there on January 1st, and as you can see, plenty of freezing rain going on still for Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania now, portions of mountainous Virginia there, and West Virginia as well. So it's going to become a lot less icy as time moves on, as you've noticed probably. Let's just take it to about maybe 4 a.m. here on January 2nd, and there is still some ice flying, or not even flying, just falling, hardly flying. So for Michigan there, as well as Pennsylvania, New York, also Massachusetts and Connecticut seeing some, but not quite as much as areas in Missouri were showing. We will take a look at that in a moment. Actually, towards the end of this video, we're going to go over the total snowfall according to these models and also the total freezing rain. So rest assured, we will take a look at that as well. Notice there's also some snow going on for New England as well. So I think you guys could potentially see some accumulating snowfall as well. So what we're going to do here in a moment is we're going to finish out the European models, simulated radar, and then we're going to move right into the GFS, and then we're going to get right into the total snowfall according to the models and total freezing rain, all coming up in just a moment. Alright, so here we are by about 12 p.m. on January 2nd, and that's going to be a Saturday. As you can see, we do have some moderate to heavy snowfall going on for upstate New York, portions of northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and then also portions of Maine as well, with still a little bit of freezing rain going on the southern extent of that, but really it's very limited at this point compared to what was going on just a little bit earlier. And as you can see, actually, by the time we reach maybe about, I would say 4 p.m. here on Saturday, January 2nd, we see it mostly just switch over to a heavy snow event there for northern New England as it kind of heads out offshore of Maine and Massachusetts there, bringing snow to the northern regions there. And then also I wanted to show you guys that around January 4th and 5th time frame, I am watching the potential for a Miller B nor'easter that could be a snowstorm there for the Northeast. So that's going to be our next snowstorm we potentially have to watch. So we're going to be possibly making Patreon posts about that soon. So if you haven't joined the Patreon page already, I highly recommend you do so. Let's just move right into the GFS here real quick, and as you can see, it really looks similar there as it's over Texas at about maybe 12 p.m. there on December 31st, New Year's Eve, but there's a lot more ice. There's a lot more ice, actually, for Texas there. Let's move it up north, and still a lot more, and it's further north as well. We see Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, all seeing very heavy ice going on, limited amounts of snow, and that was by maybe about 12 p.m. Let's just move it towards about, I would say, 4 p.m. here on January 1st, and as you can see, it has a lot more ice for, again, just the similar regions, just a lot more. By the time we reach about 1 a.m. here on January 2nd, you can see New York and New Jersey and Pennsylvania, even New England, seeing more ice than what the European model was showing. Same story as we head later in for Vermont, New Hampshire. So this could be a lot worse than what the European model is showing. Usually the European model is better than the GFS, so I'm going to side a little bit more with our European model, but the GFS does think that there will be more ice than the European model at this point, which is a possibility. And here's that nor'easter again by about January 4th and 5th time frame, but the GFS has a lot further east at this point. The good thing for snow lovers is that this is going to change probably 1,000 times before we get to it. That's why it's not worth making a video about yet. But as the days move on, probably by like the first or the second, we will start talking about this storm. So that's going to be our next topic, if it still looks to happen. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and we're finally going to take a look at that total snowfall and total freezing rain according to these models. Now, first things first, here is our European models projection. If you're anywhere in the grays, that's a dusting, if anything, probably. If you're in the blues, that's about 2 to 6 inches of snow. If you're in the purples, you're at about 6 to 10 inches of snow. And if you're in the pinks, you're at about 10 inches plus. So really, I do think this model is actually overdoing a lot of this snowfall. I think there's going to be more ice for Texas than it's anticipating, more ice for Oklahoma, Kansas, and a little less snowfall. But we're still far out, so obviously I haven't released my official forecast, so nothing is final. So take my words with a grain of salt as well. This is still just my initial thoughts. It does have plenty of snowfall going on for upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. And as you saw with the European model versus the GFS model, it could really swing either way. We could see mostly snow, or we could see mostly ice like the GFS model was showing. So really at this point, a lot of things are uncertain. But let's take a look at that total ice. And this is not looking good, but you can see most of it is for the central United States according to the European model. And there is some pretty limited amounts out east. Let's zoom in so we can see the numbers on the screen. And as you can see, it has close to an inch of freezing rain there for Kansas, Missouri, and some surrounding regions in those more darker pinks. So that's definitely some damaging ice, crippling ice there. So we're going to be watching that closely. Let's take a look at the GFS's total snowfall. And I agree with this more, but the thing is, it's only showing this much snow because it's showing more ice. So it's showing freezing rain in the same areas that the European model was showing snow falling. So that's our difference here. The color tables are exactly the same, so you can take a peek at the screen, try to find your area, and see what it's calling for. But it generally just has less snowfall pretty much everywhere. Here's that freezing rain in the central United States, and you can see it almost completely agrees with the amounts we're expecting, anywhere from about 3/4 of an inch to an inch of freezing rain. However, it does have more down there for Texas and Oklahoma. That's the biggest difference. Let's bring it out east, and you can see for Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and over there in western Maryland, as well as upstate New York, it has about, I would say, 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch of freezing rain, which is still enough to cause major damage. You got to think that ice weighs a ton, and that's what really brings down branches, power lines, things of that nature, which is unfortunately the negative impacts that freezing rain can have on certain areas. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, do you think this will be more of a snowstorm or more of an ice storm? And Pamela Keller said, I think it'll be mostly an ice storm. Ice is always worse than snow. You can shovel snow, no big deal. And I completely agree there. I think that's a big difference between ice and snow is you can't get rid of the ice. What are you going to do? I saw the guy with the flamethrower in the video that everybody's seen. So maybe you could do that. We'll have to contact him and see what he thinks. Anyways, Pamela, that was a good comment of the day. I completely agree. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons: Sebastian Tao, John Benbenick, Justin Quantrill, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Alan Belemo, Adam S., Larry LePan, Donna Carnes, Cameron Marshall, and Aiden Mattis, alongside our diamond patrons: Bill Roberts, Alan Sherry, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Codalessa, Michael Buell, Terry Curtis, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Callan Manhart, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Alicia Davis, and Mark J. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.